Flanking through the corridors comes the pyromaniac himself. Herself. Is Pyro even a human in the first place? Anyways, Pyro can be picked for a variety of reasons. Maybe you want to feel the power of burning down entire enemy teams, completely save matches by blasting enemies away, or you just like Pyro's personality. Or a lack thereof, I guess. Nonetheless, you want to play Pyro, but you also want to stop getting yelled at by your teammates and enemies. But you only have Pyro's stock weapons. Don't give up yet though, as in today's video, I'll break down and rate Pyro's weapons, then break down the entire class to see what a new player, or someone looking to improve the stock Pyro, can do. If you enjoy this, then I suggest checking out the other beginner's guides to learn more about each class. Without further ado, let's get to Pyro's first weapon. Pyro's Flamethrower is incredibly unique compared to other classes' stock weapons. The Flamethrower has 200 ammo and doesn't require you to reload, making it super reliable since you won't ever have to worry about reloading in fights, and only worrying about managing your ammo count. This is a huge factor for Pyro, since the entire class specializes in close-range combat where fast movement, fast weapon switching, and, in most cases, extremely fast deaths are common. But how exactly is this weapon practical? One word. Whether it's spraying down your enemies directly or making them take afterburn damage, fire is always an insane tool for Pyro to use. The Flamethrower's ability to just hold mouse 1 and deal a stream of damage instead of chunks of damage at a time means that, even if you can't aim at all, you're still going to do consistent damage at close range. If you die, afterburn is still guaranteed to either kill your enemy or make them weak enough to retreat for health. This also allows the Flamethrower to be perfect for spy checking, which usually involves spamming flames around you every once in a while to catch a potentially lurking spy. Of course, I don't recommend just running into a group of enemies and shooting flames to hopefully kill at least one person. It's most likely not going to end well for you. And that's about it for Pyro's Flamethrower. I can't imagine any other mechanic the Flamethrower has. Yep, that's about it for now. On to the next weapon. Oh yeah, Pyro can air blast. With a simple press of the right mouse button, you can reflect almost any projectile and player in the game. Sounds decent on paper, but this mechanic can easily be game-changing. For example, you can reflect crit rockets and crit pipes, or even stuff uber charges by reflecting the medic and his heal target, or push enemies off the payload cart to save the game. While the Flamethrower is extremely powerful, it does have one glaring flaw, which is its range. Unless you count reflecting rockets from a distance, the Flamethrower is strictly close range. So maybe that push to save the game may not be as successful as you think. Despite this major flaw, the Flamethrower is still a great weapon overall and cements Pyro as the best consistent close-range class in the game. 9 out of 10. As I stated in my previous video, the shotgun is used by 4 out of the 9 classes in the game, so I'll review the shotgun based on its effectiveness for the class that's currently using it. For the Pyro, the shotgun is a surprisingly underrated secondary since it's usually overshadowed by the flare gun. Considering Pyro's entire point of close-range combat, the shotgun is a perfect choice to do that last chunk of damage that fire just won't deal in time. Not only that, it's a great counter to one of Pyro's biggest problems: dealing with other Pyros. Since Pyro only takes fire damage from direct fire, most fights boil down to spamming fire and hoping one person dies. However, considering that most Pyros carry a flare gun or some type of secondary similar to it, you can deal much more damage and make fights against other Pyros an easy win as long as you can aim. And not only is it good for those encounters, it's also a decent choice to combo with. The more you practice with Pyro, the better you'll get at combining your primary and secondary uses on one enemy instead of just WM1ing or panicking and spamming your shotgun. While there still might be better alternatives for the combo Pyro playstyle, the shotgun is still an all-around useful weapon in most scenarios, and really should be utilized in a lot more situations than you think. 9 out of 10. So I've been pretty cruel to every stock melee weapon so far, and that trend is going to continue with this weapon. The Fire Axe is TF2's only straight downgrade in the game, since another melee, the Third Degree, literally has zero downsides whatsoever. Alright, so not a great start, but trust me, it gets worse. On paper, the Fire Axe isn't that bad because Pyro would really benefit from the close range of a melee weapon. The only problem is that Pyro already has two weapons meant for close range combat. Pyro is a class that struggles with sustainability, and being forced to get even closer than you already need to be isn't exactly good for the whole not dying thing. Anything the Fire Axe can do, the shotgun or Flamethrower can do 10 times better. The best you can do with the Fire Axe is to not get in situations where you need to use it, because by that point, you're either already or will soon be dead. Maybe get a cool looking kill every once in a while if you can, but for the most part, never use this. 0 out of 10. For the most part,
Pyro is
close range in general, but anything Pyro can specifically do, one class can do it better. Now, this doesn't make Pyro bad. Far from that. What makes Pyro so great is how you have access to these tools on a whim. Need to weaken and kill entire groups? Use fire. In a tough situation, but there just so happens to be a soldier or a demo man? Use air blast. Fighting other Pyros? Use your shotgun. Fan of your own pain? Use the Fire Axe. Of course, this requires a lot of practice and game sense to fully master. Pyro might have the lowest skill floor in the game, but if you want to live and be a reliable asset to your team, you need to think, and most importantly, practice. Before you rush into an area, make sure that you can either make it out alive or deal enough damage to make your death worth it. Practice reflecting projectiles, starting with rockets and pipes, and eventually practice against fast projectiles such as direct hit rockets and huntsman arrows. Trust me, air blasting becomes muscle memory over time. Speaking of air blast, you can extinguish your teammates who are set on fire by air blasting them. Doing this also gives you 20 health, which really helps with sustainability, especially in the middle of team fights. These huge battles are one of Pyro's best areas to fight in due to the sheer amount of players and reflectable projectiles.
This is getting too easy, mate.
Range. Pyro really struggles with range, which emphasizes the best playstyles for Pyro, flanking and close range combat. Tight hallways and flanking the payload are perfect. Open areas with team fights are good, but be careful against longer range classes. Open areas with little to no teammates and sniper sidelines are not good places to be. Ending up in these places typically results in a lack of work in the living department. Always stick close to your team as Pyro. If you protect them and keep them alive, they'll be able to push through or defend to victory. Although, sometimes being the class that can push enemies back and fights at close range sometimes involves sacrifices to be made. And that's just the truth about Pyro. Sometimes you don't get to burn down whole groups. Sometimes you need to be there for your team. Sometimes you need to let go of Mouse 1. As a Pyro, you need to understand that most situations won't end up with you living depending on your playstyle. People say Pyro takes no skill to use, but they never see how reliable Pyro is and how much Pyro helps. Your team might not notice, but you can be their main savior. And I cannot stress this enough, especially for a class like Pyro, it just takes practice. Playing Pyro is a roller coaster of emotions. Some days you'll wipe the floor with people, on other days, not so much. Despite what people say, Pyro really does take a lot of skill if you want to master and memorize every mechanic. This idea gets expanded even further with the extremely unique unlockables in Pyro's arsenal. And, well, that's really all the info I can give you now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I love the criticism from the last video. Comments like these improves my content the quickest. I also got a new microphone, so let me know if it's good moving forward. I hope you like and or subscribe, as any support really helps my channel. Thank you to Tiny Purple Peanut for creating this video's thumbnail, and continue giving any advice or mention what you thought could be improved in the comments. Have a good day, everyone.
In the meantime, this is where I get off.